Welcome to another video for MTS building kits. In this video we'd like to take a look at 3 more steps in the installation manual. Those steps are setting trusses, bracing trusses, and final wall bracing. You will need to determine if the trusses can be set by hand or if you will require mechanical assistance such as the skid loader and boom as seen in this picture, or a crane or any other method you may choose. Trusses up to 30 foot in width can usually be set by hand. However, it is your responsibility to determine the method used based on your skill and comfort level. Be sure to have enough help to handle this process safely. You will need an installer on the wall for each end of the truss, at least one installer for installing lateral runs and purlins as the trusses are set, and one installer on the ground to assist. Set the first gable truss outside of the gable post at the end where you started the truss block layout. Continue setting the next 3 trusses and installing the peak purlins on each slope. For buildings over 30 foot wide, install an additional purlin midway on each slope as you go. After setting the 4th truss, install the wind bracing and plumb the first gable truss, that gable wall. Install the wind bracing per building plans and or material list. Wind bracing gets nailed to the truss supports at the bottom and the peak of the gable truss at the top. Then all trusses that it crosses over. As you continue to set trusses, it's easy to keep your roof purlins cut to 8 foot length, and you can see here how when this truss is getting installed, the installer can go out, grab this roof purlin, peak purlin, and fasten it to the truss that's already installed, fasten it to the truss that's getting installed, and then it's ready to accept the next truss as soon as it gets set. Continue setting the rest of the trusses, install the peak purlins and at least one lateral run as you go. The lateral runs get installed on top of the truss bottom cord. In this diagram you can see there are 2 runs of those, but your truss print should have location and quantity for those as you go through setting. Here's a top view and you can see the lateral runs down there on the bottom and a row of peak purlins on the top. After you've set all of those, then you are ready for your wind bracing on the other gable end. And again, if I go for a top view, you can see that those V shapes from the truss supports to the peak of the gable truss gives you a lot of bracing there. After all of that bracing is done, then you are ready to install the rest of the roof purlins. They will get installed 24 inches on center, and then your metal will go on top of that. We'll cover that in another video. When you have your roof all framed, you can come down and install diagonal bracing in the corners of your building. You want to run that from the skirt board at the first post off of the corner up to the truss supports at the corner post. Once you've got that diagonal corner bracing installed, check around on your building plans and see if there's any other bracing that needs installed. When that is all done, your building should be plumbed and braced. Your trusses and walls are tied together and your building will stand without additional temporary bracing. You can now go through and remove that temporary bracing and remove the nails and screws from that bracing, because you'll probably want that for later on in your finished framing. Again, thanks for choosing an MTS building kit. We're here to make this an easy process.